Hello, my friends. It's Sheila Pearl here in your IntoMeSee self-love coaching program. So today I want to talk about probably your best friend. I say probably because maybe there's a pecking order. I'm not sure which order they would go in. But I would say one of your very, very best friends and mine are something I call blind spots. We all have them. We all have blind spots. And the question is, what are they and how do I know I have them and what is it all about? So first I want you to think about, our field of vision in terms of what we're able to see is this great big pie. And think of it as a pizza pie. And you're going to cut it up in many different pieces. So I'm not too hungry today. I'm not going to have too big of a piece. Give me like a sliver, which may be a third of a piece of a pizza pie that's cut into eighths already. So we're not going to have much of that pie. Let's just say 15% of that pie, a small sliver. And that sliver is all the things you know. And as you get older and wiser and have more experience in life, that piece could get bigger. So I could say I know about more things now than I did when I was 25 or 35. Then next to that, I'm going to take another slice. Maybe it's even a bigger slice because I know a lot of things, but there's a lot of things I know I don't know. So I know I don't know Chinese. I know I don't know how to fix my car's engine. And so think of that realm of things that you don't know as being, let's say, another 15%. It's a nice slice of that pie. But now you got about 70%, 65%. And as you get older and wiser and you know more about things, maybe the field gets smaller. But the majority of that pie is all the things you don't know you don't know. You don't even know that you don't know. Okay, so you know certain things, you know you don't know certain things, but the bigger piece of that pie, the bigger piece of your awareness, the bigger piece of your consciousness, of your knowledge of yourself and life and what you're about is the blind spots. Everything that's in the realm of I don't even know I don't know. So how do I then change the things I don't even know I don't know to the things I know now or I know I don't know? And that's called life experience. You glump together in this wonderful cosmic stew the things that you've learned about yourself because you engaged in self-inquiry, the things that you learned about yourself because you get feedback from other people that you have relationships with, who give you an experience of yourself where you learn more about yourself by virtue of feedback. And then something happens in your life and you look around and you say, I didn't even see that coming. Now, I'm going to just share a little quote with you that I have here for you. We all have blind spots, those areas for improvement and growth. As painful as it can be to admit we're doing things we never wanted to do and that we're saying things we never wanted to say, it is this acknowledgement that enables us to take the first step towards change or growth or enlightenment or awareness. Be gentle with yourself. Be real with yourself and take baby steps. So it doesn't help, does it, to beat up on yourself for something you just didn't see. And friends and family might say to you about any number of things in your life, why can't you see that? I saw that. Well, that's your blind spot, not theirs. So just like you, I have blind spots. I may be older, I may have learned more, I may have had more life experience, but that doesn't mean that I am done with blind spots. I've got a probably big bunch of stuff that's still in the blind spot range. And how do we know that we have a blind spot? take a look at certain areas of your life that continue to be a source of conflict for you, continue to be a source of dissatisfaction for you, to look at your life in terms of certain things in your life that are not fulfilling. They are unfulfilled for you. So you're looking at results you don't like. And when any of us has results we don't like, the question is, how did it get that way? I maintain that we're all creators, either of the things we don't want or the things that we do want. We're always creative beings in terms of creating our results. That doesn't mean we create from awareness or from a high level of consciousness about what we're doing, but we're always creating our results, either consciously or unconsciously. Your job and my job is to look at our results every step of the way. It's never done. We're never finished creating our lives. So take a look at your results today and say, what is it about my results in my life that is still a source of dissatisfaction, still a source of conflict with others or with myself, and still a source of unfulfillment? I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. It's not really me. It's not what I envisioned. And to ask yourself, what have I been saying to myself? What are the words I've been speaking? What are the beliefs that I have that have been creating what I don't want? And how could I change the way I talk to myself? How could I change what I believe I'm capable of so that I can change the outcome, so that the results would be different, so that my dissatisfaction would become satisfaction and fulfillment? I'll give you an example of something that I'm working with in my own life. And it's a process of self-discovery that I went through this past weekend with my spiritual community, in which I was invited to dig deeper and to uncover more blind spots. Here we go again, looking again, digging deeper. And my blind spot has something to do with lack of financial abundance, lack of the kind of close, intimate, personal relationship with a significant other that I really have had to admit I really want. And to ask the question, what's standing in the way? And I had to dig deeper and look at what I believe about myself, what I believe is possible, and how I've inadvertently been standing in my own way. It was a blind spot I had to uncover in this very important inquiry into myself yesterday. If I understand that I am the author of my life and my results, and that the only thing that stands in the way of my having the results I want is to change the way I'm thinking, to change the way I'm seeing myself, to change my beliefs about what I can have, then I understand that I'm very powerful. You're very powerful. And that what you have in your life is partly because that's what you've created, because that's what you believed you could have. What if your blind spot has everything to do with your choosing or not choosing to believe that you are more creative, more powerful than you give yourself credit for being? What if the lack that I experience in my own life, whether it's financial lack or lack in terms of a loving partner, has something to do with my fear of taking a chance again, with loving someone again that I might lose? Because my dear husband of 32 years, whom I loved with all my heart, is gone. I've been a widow over 13 years. What if the pain of that loss was so much for me that I created obstacles and stumbling blocks to protect me from experiencing the pain of loss again? So what if my real blind spot has everything to do with fear, everything to do with limiting my own fulfillment in the service of protecting me from being hurt? And yet, I often say, if you lead with fear, you lose. And all of life is taking risks. All of fulfillment, all of our growth, all of our richness in being who we are, living the lives we live, comes from being willing to step through that barrier of fear and to take another chance. What if, out of fear, I cheat myself of having a loving relationship with a significant other that lasts a year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? Is it about the time? Do I want to have a guarantee that I can have a loving relationship with someone who won't die before I do? Is that really what living a fulfilled life is all about? To allow our fear to lead the way? In the inquiry that I was involved in yesterday and unveiling some of my own blind spots, I began to understand more about me in terms of how I have inadvertently, not consciously, but unconsciously, been blocking my own joy, blocking my own abundance, blocking my own fulfillment. Because I didn't know what I didn't know. So I want you to think about your life. What in your life is less than fulfilling for you? What in your life is a source of constant conflict? And to begin to ask the question, in what way is fear playing a role here? In what way is fear standing in the way of my being willing to stop defending myself in a conversation with someone I thought I loved and creating more conflict because I'm so busy defending myself, I'm fighting instead of seeking to understand? What if I stepped into every conflict with a loving intention rather than a defensive position? What if? So this is an exercise of digging deep. And the more we can acknowledge that our unfulfillment, our failures, if you will, our mistakes, our conflicts in life simply come from not knowing what we don't know. Then when we go through a forgiveness process, which is the next step in this program, we're going to be more able to have compassion and understanding for ourselves and for others as we understand that there are so many things we just don't know we don't know. And to forgive ourselves for not knowing. And to forgive the other person or persons in our life for not knowing. Because we all have blind spots, lots of them. So instead of saying, what's the matter with you? You can't see that? Or what's the matter with you? You can't go there? Or you can't do that? Or that may be the way you're talking to yourself. Well, maybe not. Maybe you can't see it yet. So it's important to say to yourself, I'm a work in progress. I can't see everything all at once. And there are certain things I don't know yet. There are things I just don't know I don't know. And life can be a great adventure of uncovering another blind spot. So this is a brief message today about a very important topic in your life. I will be posting later an upload of a worksheet for this work. But before you even look at a worksheet, I want you to explore those areas of your life today, which are sources of frustration, or sources of unfulfillment, or sources of dissatisfaction, or sources of conflict. And ask yourself, what is it I'm not seeing here? What is it I could see perhaps more clearly if I approach this problem or this issue or these results I don't like in my life or this conflict I have with someone I love or thought I loved? What if I approach these things from the standpoint of curiosity, compassion, love, and risk-taking, rather than having the illusion that I could constantly protect myself from the fear of being hurt or disappointed, or protecting myself in a conflict by defending myself against perceived slings and arrows? What if every conflict in a relationship really comes from a lack of understanding? What if I would seek to understand both myself and the other person in the midst of this conflict? How would that make things different for them and for me? So in this last week of February, as we're nearing towards the third month of this 6-month program, I'm inviting you to dig deeper today, to forgive yourself for not knowing what you don't know, to have a sense of humor for all those times when you say, what was I thinking? I didn't even see it. I should have had a V8. To understand that you and I just don't know everything there is to know ever, and to understand that you just don't know what you don't know, or you don't see what you don't see, and that we all have blind spots, and we're all here to learn and grow. We're all here to help each other. So let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how this is for you today and this week, and continue to dig deep. It's a great adventure.